Cartoons can be dangerous.
Isn't a weapon.
Oh, good. I'm no good at fighting actual battles.
Not once if he's not coming back for a while. Do you remember what we decided to do if you're ever afraid? I want you to take that off the table very carefully. Can you hold it up so I can see what kind it is?
When Jonah Whitman found a VHS copy of Angel Hare, he was overwhelmed by nostalgia. During his childhood, the show had been his escape, but when he pressed play on the VCR, Jonah's enthusiasm quickly turned to disappointment. The show wasn't how he remembered it.
Hello there. My name is Angel Gabby. What's yours? That's a beautiful name. It's wonderful to meet you, and I hope we can be friends.
Confused, Jonah dug up the episodes that had aired on his VCR growing up, the episodes that had actually been broadcast over the airwaves, and sure enough, things were different.
Hello there. My name is Angel Gabriel. What's yours? It's wonderful to meet you, Jonah. I hope I can be a good friend to you.
The official VHS copy of the show is incredibly normal. It operates like Blue's Clues or Dora the Explorer, with Angel Gabby prompting the young viewer for a response before continuing with the plot.
That's a beautiful name.
However, in Jonah's taped version, the show is quite different.
You should always tell the truth. If you know you're going to be in trouble, you should create a truth for later.
For one thing, the Angel Bunny introduces herself with a different name.
My name is Angel Gabby. My name is Angel Gabriel.
Even more curious is that Angel Gabby acknowledges Jonah's responses as if she can hear him through the television.
It's wonderful to meet you, Jonah.
The differences don't end there, and Gabby's responses are so accurate, it can't be a coincidence.
Can you think of a toy or storybook that's special to you? That's great. Sharing something important lets others learn about what makes you special. Another way to make friends is to share things you like. Can you think of a toy or storybook that's special to you? That's a great book. Just like Babe, you can grow up to do whatever you want, Jonah. That's what makes you special.
However, by episode 2, the differences between Jonah's and the VHS copies are no longer subtle. In the official copy, everything plays out as normal, but the one that aired in Jonah's house was very weird.
It's a beautiful day, Francis. We shouldn't take it for granted. The sun is warm sometimes, Jonah, but you shouldn't forget the moments when it burns you.
Oh, but Gabby, how can I have the strength to face the day? All the rain has got me shivery and sad.
Oh, Francis, it's simple. Faith and hope give us the strength to face.
All the rain has got me shivery and sad.
You will need strength to be resilient during times of comfort, and fortitude to be brave during times of heat. I can show you how to be stronger,
use some fortitude.
even though you're so small.
You don't hate puppies and kittens, do you? Subscribe to Theft King, unless you hate puppies and kittens. In the next scene, Angel Gabby breaks script completely, literally flying away from Francis and leaving him there talking as she again addresses Jonah directly.
The rain has flooded the path back to my home. How will I ever cross? Oh, despair.
You'll never cross if you give in to despair, friend Francis. Let's follow the stream and look for it.
The rain has flooded the path back to my home. How will I ever cross? Oh, despair.
In the darkest times, you must never despair, Jonah. It is our greatest enemy. Strength will be your ally, and I will show you how to be strong.
I see, Gabby. This hope is giving me a lot of strength.
We feel safest where we go to sleep. Do you want your room to feel safe? First, let me show you how you can be stronger than your enemy.
In a bizarre turn of events, we see Angel Gabby teaching Jonah how to barricade his door closed using a chair.
Like David's little pebble against Goliath, this little chair is going to be stronger than anyone who comes to your door. If we put it backwards like this, it will be like your own lock and key. Look at that! It's so strong. Now let's get in the closet. The dark can be scary, but it can also be peaceful. Instead of letting the sounds and darkness make you fearful, look at God's blessings and concentrate hard on something you're thankful for. This is how your mind can be strong too. I like to take a big, slow breath to keep me calm. Would you like to try? Very good, Jonah. Now you don't have to be scared, even if he finds you.
Wait a minute, who is he? With instructions this overt, the implication is clear. Angel Gabby is trying to protect Jonah from someone. Someone with access to Jonah's bedroom. Someone who could come in during the night. Someone who lives in Jonah's house. As the tape ends, Jonah begins to remember. He and his mom. It wasn't always just the two of them. The next tape begins with a dark admission that Jonah's body is scarred. According to his mother, they were a result of horseplay as a child, but in light of everything Jonah just discovered, he's starting to doubt that. He's starting to remember where his scars really came from. Things escalate dramatically in the third episode, where Angel Gabby not only responds to Jonah, but actually seems to be observing his living room, and she notices him leaving the room.
The real sword of the spirit isn't a weapon.
Oh, good. I'm no good at fighting actual battles.
Not
with
once
these
if he's not
logs.
coming back for a while. Do you remember what we decided to do if you're ever afraid? I want you to take that off the table very carefully, only holding the handle. It might be heavy. Use both hands. Can you hold it up so I can see what kind it is?
With no one else present, Angel Gabby instructs Jonah to grab a gun off the table, strip it down, and then hide it.
Jonah, you're a very brave and very special one of God's children. Now that we've got the pieces apart, let's think of somewhere to hide them where nobody can use them for harm. No, Jonah, not the kitchen. A lot of people hide things in the kitchen and there's too much traffic for it to be safe. No, not the toy chest in your room. It would be very incriminating. We can learn that word later, but it could get you into trouble. Good. Now, see if you can put the book back in front of it. Wonderful job. Be slow and steady as you climb back down.
We see Francis continuing to act out the episode as normal before...
Extra honest, or...
I'll always be
Well, in
your
any
warrior,
case,
Jonah.
Now
I hope we'll never have to draw a weapon. But as your guardian angel,
Thank you.
I'll always be ready.
The official copy of the next tape is pretty normal, with Francis having stolen one of Gabby's angel feathers and then lying about doing so. However, the copy that Jonah taped on his VCR back as a kid is once again very different.
I'm sorry, Gabby. I was scared you'd be mad at me, but I shouldn't have lied.
Honesty is important, Jonah. You should always tell the truth. If you know you're going to be in trouble, you should create a truth for later.
Angel Gabby seems to imply that something terrible is about to happen at Jonah's house and that Jonah needs to be as far away as possible when it does.
Will you ever forgive me?
Go to a friend's house when something bad happens, and you won't have to lie about it when they ask you later. They are going to ask you what happened, Jonah, so you have to make sure you're gone when the time comes. We have to make sure you only have truth to tell. You can forgive Francis if you want, but it will be difficult to ever trust him again. Revelations warns us of the place prepared for liars. It's up to you, Jonah. What would you like me to do?
Between his inexplicable scars, the gun, and the suggested presence of some sort of abusive father figure that Jonah had forgotten about, the implication is pretty clear. Angel Gabby recognized that Jonah wasn't safe. At first, she tried to comfort him, but when that didn't work, she tried to teach him to minimize and cope with the abuse. However, in spite of that, it persisted, and Gabby decided to take drastic measures. Did Gabby do something bad? Did Jonah do something bad? Perhaps to this mysterious, ambiguous father figure? Even stranger, when Jonah goes to look into local incident reports from that period, he learns that a devastating flood destroyed the town's archives. Someone wanted all records of what had happened destroyed.
Water crews arrived and were able to essentially close the floodgates, but not before the damage was done.
Gabby tells Jonah that the decision is his and that she'll help him however she can.
I'll help you however I can.
What isn't clear is whether Jonah is the one who committed this unspeakable act or if Gabby somehow did it herself. She says that she'll help him however she can, but if Gabby really has influence over the physical world, why would she need to instruct Jonah on disassembling and stowing away the gun? Searching for answers, Jonah returns home to his mother's house. Not wanting to worry his mother, he withholds his recent discoveries regarding Angel Hare and his past. But upon searching the attic, he comes to learn that he isn't the first one to investigate the strange children's show. Jonah finds letters that his mother had received from the company that broadcast Angel Hare. Something caused her to suddenly become very interested in the show, and she began contacting and almost harassing the distribution company behind it. Interspliced with his mother's letters are psychological videos that seem to share some unsettling themes. Destructive tendencies in children, the way that a developing mind interprets and rationalizes the media it consumes, the impact of television programming on children. Jonah's mother knows all about Angel Hare, and she's done her own investigation. Furthermore, she seems to know exactly what happened all those years ago between Jonah and the mysterious father figure, and she's scared. Recognizing that his mother had given up and moved on from her search, Jonah can't bring himself to just ask her, and thus he turns to the only other one who could know, Angel Gabby. Jonah realizes that while he was able to interact with Gabby during the broadcasts, the VCR recordings he has are immutable, always playing out the exact same way.
That's a lovely drawing, Jonah. That's silly, Jonah. People can't fly. Don't worry. We can stay here as long as you need me to. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. The colors show other animals that they're dangerous. We can be dangerous too, Jonah.
For some reason, Gabby was only able to communicate with him when the show was being broadcast live. Desperate, Jonah begins live streaming the series on his Twitch channel with the hopes that Gabby will return. Part of him hopes that it doesn't work, that this is all some bizarre dream, but considering everything he's seen and the dark implications behind his recordings, Jonah has to know the truth. He has to speak with Gabby again. As he activates the live stream, curiously, it shows 2 viewers. Who else could possibly be watching a live stream like this? The first episode begins like it always does, when suddenly...
Angel Gabby! Oh, Angel Gabby!
Hello? Gabriel? Angel Gabby?
Good morning, Francis. I love to hear you call. Have you brought a new friend with you?
Yes, but I'm fearful, Angel Gabby. I never know what to say.
Oh my God. What? It's me. Jonah, I'm here. Do you remember me?
I'm so happy to see you, Jonah. Just look how well you've grown.
Since reuniting, Jonah and Gabby spoke every night. In a way, he became sort of obsessed with her. However, come Easter, Gabby disappeared.
Angel Gabby! Gabby! Oh, Angel Gabby!
Desperate to locate his guardian angel, Jonah keeps the livestream going constantly until eventually Gabby's character is replaced.
Hello, friend Francis. I love to hear you call. Is this a new friend? Francis. Francis.
Yes, but I'm fearful, Angel Zaggy. I never know what to say.
The presence of Angel Zag greatly disturbs Jonah. I don't want to think about it, about what it could mean that he's here instead.
That's okay, Francis. I'll show you how to meet someone new. First, you introduce yourself and ask them to do the same.
That he must have done something to her. That he could do something to me.
Hello there. My name is Angel Zag. What's yours? That's a beautiful name. It's wonderful to meet you, and I hope we can be friends.
I'm afraid, because I know he can see me.
Another way to make friends is to share things you like. Can you think of a toy or storybook that's special to you?
So I'm playing along.
Sharing something important lets others learn about what makes you tick.
Angel Zag changes the script of the show ever so slightly, and for the first time, we see Francis visibly uncomfortable, whereas before, even when Gabby went completely off script, Francis always played it straight.
I hope we'll never have to draw a weapon. But as your guardian angel?
Thank you.
It's simple, Francis. Respect and penitence gives us the wisdom to face every challenge. It may not make us obviously wise, but it can give us common sense when we need it.
I could certainly use some fortitude.
Jonah knows Angel Zag can hear him, but when he tries to address him directly, the bunny just ignores him.
Let's start on the path back to your home, Francis. With all this rain, there's a chance the way is washed out.
Even stranger, when Jonah tries to pause the show, Zag is somehow able to resume it. Running out of options and desperate to find out who Zag is and what happened to Gabby, Jonah plays his trump card and threatens aloud that he'll end the broadcast.
Let's follow the stream and... You're the one airing this? You aren't at a TV station. How are you doing this?
It worked.
Are you able to record? Why did you put the show back on? Are you with Wreath? What, all of a sudden you got nothing? Fran, do you know this guy? Looks a little old for cartoon rabbits. I came to find her, genius. What are you doing?
Zag asks Jonah if he's with Wreath, which presumably refers to Wreath of Life, the original creators of Angel Hair, but he doesn't give any additional information.
Before then, she was always answering her call.
I'm not really supposed to.
Sure, but this is an exception.
I think Gabby still likes to try to have a lesson.
Teamwork, diligence, Proverbs 27:17. Work with that.
Well, in that case, I have some documents that may help.
Angel Zag claims he's come to try and locate Gabby, but Jonah doesn't quite trust him. The feeling is mutual though, and Zag continues his investigation on his own.
Much appreciated, but I don't know you, pal. So how's about keeping the lights on? That'll be enough.
As the live stream continues, Zag works with an apprehensive Francis to try and locate Gabby, to no avail. Francis retrieves a document that seems like it could contain a clue, but instead it just depicts some biblically accurate angels.
Sometimes, as Gabby's confidant, I get visions bestowed upon me in my sleep. I like to doodle them down for giggles, and this one came to me Easter morning.
Let's have a look. And you said that was the first morning she didn't... Ah, well, ain't this bupkis? You'd think a kid's flick would keep it simple. Is this the only style you know?
I'm not sure what you mean, Angel Zaggy. That's just exactly as I saw it.
Would you stop calling me Zaggy? She's gotta be so darn traditional. Hey, Pally, I can only get so much done with 8 fingers and a tail. This'll be a lot easier in a setting with more depth. So be straight with me. Can you put anything on the air?
You see, Zag wasn't originally from Angel Hair. He's from a different show entirely, and he sends Jonah on a mission to locate a copy.
What would my name mean to you? Yet, I have told you, we are partners. Tonight our partnership will be consummated. I will show you how strongly it can be welded.
The cartoon in question is called Wild Hare, a hard-boiled detective drama starring the daring Zag Wild. Francis also makes an appearance, this time as a bumbling sidekick or one of Zag's clients or something, and we're introduced to a new character, Franny, Zag's assistant.
If it ain't Detective Zag Wild. Been a minute, Z. Tell me that's a new client.
Francine, this is Francis.
Of course, I remember you.
Miss Franny.
Don't overdo it on the mints this time, hun.
Franny, we're in a bit of a...
Yeah, always a dame that needs saving. I'll make sure you're not disturbed.
This is not like her show. It isn't cozy or safe. These aren't my memories, or my friends. However, with the characters now under the influence of a detective cartoon, Zag requests the document from Francis again, and they find that it's changed to suit the new setting.
Now give me those documents again, Chief. That's more like it. Starlet finds a new stage, facing grueling new demands. Can she handle the glamour of a life among the stars? Only time will tell.
And this version makes sense to you?
At least we know she's still out there.
Of course she is, silly. Angels can't die. So what does it mean, Detective?
Let's think. All the clues have to be here. It's how the show works. Finds a new stage.
Is she coming back?
While this clue is substantial, it doesn't seem to ring any bells for Zag. However, Jonah realizes what this means. The show may change, but she's the same. I know how to find her. No matter what I went through as a child.
Don't worry. I'm right here for you, Jonah. Good job. Now it's your turn to hide. But don't leave the room. That's cheating.
Or what changed later.
Just look how well you've grown.
One thing never changed.
Hello, Jonah. You called? I'll always come when you call, Jonah.
Her promise. If she's not here, it's because she can't, right? What if streaming so much got her lost or stuck or broken or something? I don't know, but she wouldn't break her promise, right? So I explained streaming to the detective. And we made a plan. Jonah fires up as many live streams as possible with the hopes that it will somehow allow Gabby to communicate with them.
Oh my, demon hair boxes.
All right, let's go.
Would you look at that?
That's classified, pal. Don't worry about it.
Oh, there.
We're associates. I'm not her dad, pal. I don't care for her hand-holding approach, but her work's none of my business. You ask me, kids are smart. Show them what to do, they'll figure it out without the song and dance. Look, buddy, I need you to slow down and ask yourself an important question right now. Think about your little rabbit friend and really ask, do you want to know? Or do you want her back? Huh?
Oh goodness, it's Gabby!
But she isn't okay. She never left.
Gabs? Gabs! Can you hear me?